It's already been a week since the Kirby Air Riders Direct, and honestly that Direct hyped me up so much more for this game. The carts look amazing, specifically the T-Rex bike, it looks so cool. And the characters were just out of this world. I mean, there was Cappy, there was Waddle Doo, and all the mainstays too, like Meta Knight and King Dedede. But there's one part about this Direct that really caught my eye, and that was that ending cutscene after the whole Direct was done. Take a look at it. Now, after watching that clip, you're probably thinking, could this be a new character? Is this a crossover to Meta Knight and King Dedede in some way, or does this signify story mode? In my eyes, it's really hard to tell, but today we're going to be going over all the theories of what this guy could signify. So with that all said, sit back, relax, and let's talk about what this new character could be in Kirby Air Riders. So we first have to start off with who this guy could really be. My first thought was, this could just be an even more evil version of King Dedede, because King Dedede's always on the bikes. And his helmet looks really similar, except the edges on the metal parts are way sharper than normal. And once again, he's on a bike, and that was King Dedede's main vehicle choice in the first Kirby Air Ride game. Which would make a lot of sense, because in Smash Bros. Ultimate World of Light mode, the spirits would absorb into these black metal figures of the characters you play as. And as you can tell, this is a very gray character, so that could signify a darker version of Dedede. It could also be Dark Matter, a character who is the main antagonist in Kirby's Dream Land 2 and 3. And once again, this theory makes a lot of sense, because he appears in this black ball that looks like, you guessed it, Dark Matter. And if we look at the two games he was in, he actually has a cape and really dark black hair that looks very wavy. Now, if we go back to the reveal clip, you can see a cape whip out of the black ball when he appears, and the black hair is there too, with its wavy action still intact. But after those two theories being very considerable, there's one more I have to talk about, and this could be even more considerable. This last person in question is Nightmare from Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. And I can say, looking at the gameplay footage here, Nightmare does not look like the person riding on the bike at all. But the reason why this could be Nightmare is because he creates his own enemies, and what if he just created that guy on the bike? He could have even created a lot of more clones of different characters in Air Riders, which would be amazing. But now, since we've gotten all the theories out of the way, we're going to talk about how each antagonist is going to have their own story mode, and they're all pretty different. But before we get into these theories, it would be really nice if you would like and subscribe, because my next sub goal is 10,000, and it'd be great if you could get me to 1.5k. So with that all said, let's get right back into the video. So first, let's talk about what if it was a clone of King Dedede. I actually think it'd be something like Super Mario Party Jamboree story mode, and you're probably thinking, how the heck can Kirby Air Riders be connected to Mario Party in literally any way? Well, it's not, because it's gonna have a little Smash Bros incorporated into it, because you know, Sakurai made those games. But instead of going on a giant map or a giant board game board, you'd actually drive on the racetracks of the game and go from the starting line to the finish line, but instead of helping Toads, you'd actually fight dark clones. For example, you could do like mini 1v1 races, or you could even do some battles in a mini Coliseum. And then you'd sorta end it off by fighting that King Dedede clone on the Rainbow Road of Kirby Air Riders, if you know what I mean. By doing like a giant 1v1 race with Dedede, maybe going across all the tracks in the game at once. Now, what if it's Dark Matter? And I think this story mode theory would be amazing if it happened. How about instead of going on the racetracks, let's go on Skypiea this time though. But what if he infected the whole city with, you guessed it, dark matter, and maybe even infected the enemies in it, which obviously turns them evil for sure. But what if you, playing as Kirby, have to uninfect the whole island of this dark matter before it collapses? And you have to uninfect each biome of the island, starting off with the fields and ending off with the giant dragon volcano at the end. Which would of course lead you to the fight with dark matter, obviously, and he'd keep changing forms throughout the battle. And you could even fight him throughout all of Skypiea, finding those little PNGs you find in City Trial, and keep leveling up your Air Rider until you get absolutely full maxed out to destroy dark matter. That would be absolutely insane. I will say though, the only flaw with this theory is that Skypiea is pretty small, but Nintendo could incorporate some of the ending City Trial minigames to spice it up a little, who knows. Finally, for our last story mode theory, we have Nightmare. And I'm not gonna pick a specific map this is gonna be on because I feel like it could work anywhere in this game. I mean, heck, they could make a whole new map for this if they really want. But knowing Nintendo, they probably won't do that. We all know Nintendo at this point. It would kinda work like the DDD clone, except Nightmare makes his own enemies, and maybe they're even new ones that we haven't seen in the Direct. I might be going a little off script here, but give me some of the Kirby 64 characters. I mean, where the heck are they? Now that I got that out of my chest and we're back to topic, Nintendo has been adding a lot of enemy characters to kart racers lately, and I'm pretty sure which one you know I'm talking about. And Nintendo could easily do this with Air Riders too. I'm not saying they should, but they can. But I think it'd be way cooler than Mario Kart because Kirby has a bunch of cool enemies. Like, I really hope they add Chili. He's one of my favorite enemies in Kirby of all time. And once again, you're probably thinking, Nintendo, how are you going to unlock these characters? Well, for example, if Nightmare makes a bunch of Chilis, and you defeat a lot of them, the more you defeat, the more the unlock bar grows. So if you beat a bunch of those Chilis, you'll eventually unlock Chili. And the more you go through story mode, the more enemies you unlock in the end. And finally, you know how the drill goes. You'll fight Nightmare in the end, and then you'll use all your copy abilities to fight him, blah blah blah. But with all those stories out of the way, what do you think is the best story theory that I came up with today? Was it the Clone King DDD? Was it Dark Matter? Or was it Nightmare? Tell me in the comments down below. And honestly, I am super hyped for Kirby Air Riders. This might be even better than Mario Kart World if Nintendo plays their cards right. The tracks look amazing, the karts look amazing, and the characters look amazing. There's nothing more you need. But with that all said, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and peace out.